Well, hi everybody, it's gothatfunk here with a video response for The Amazing Atheist, and the video, of course, being Answers and Interruptions. And first of all, before I talk to you, TJ, my other viewers, I want to apologize to, because I know I've already talked about this issue several times in the past week, but I think it merits further discussion. TJ, I'm a big fan of yours. I don't know if you've seen my other videos or not, so I'll just preface this by saying I have been a fan for a long time. I agree with a lot of the views you have on certain issues, for example, capital punishment, and, equal rights, and lots of other stuff for that matter. But and to start off this response to your video, I'm going to tell you where I agree with you in the video I'm responding to. When Coughlin said in his video that you were watching in this video, Coughlin said to you that you just put his video on your page so that it would get 1 star to death, and you come back by saying that no, you do that so your viewers get a chance to see what you're responding to, because obviously you have a greater viewership than him, and therefore it's fair to assume they won't see the video unless you show it to them. Perfectly valid point, absolutely legitimate. I get that, and I think it would be irresponsible if you didn't put it on your page. So, you know, I get you. I think you and Richard are both right, though, in the comment about the ratings on that video. For example, you said day before yesterday, I think, that it's a testament to your words and the integrity of your viewers that they didn't 1 star that video to death, and you're right. On the other hand, Richard's right when he says that it's a testament to the quality of his video that it didn't get 1 star to death. For a guy with 10 or 11,000 subs to have a video that gets watched 50 or 60,000 times and to still be at 4.5 stars is quite a feat. So I think you're both right on that one. All right. I want to jump straight ahead, though, into something that you've said that I really profoundly disagree with. You said that you don't think of Richard Coughlin as a sincere individual. You think he's fake on his YouTube videos. And, you know, you're welcome to your opinion. I emphatically disagree. You said that you don't think people watch him for that reason. I can tell you that I'm one of those people. That is the main thing that attracted me to watching Coughlin's videos in the first place, was there's a real tapestry human being there. He's not two-dimensional. He's multifaceted. He's obviously very deep, and he means what he says. He's a very passionate person. Now, all of that is, as far as I'm concerned, blatantly, obviously real. I can't imagine how you or anybody could look at Richard and think he's being insincere about most of the things that he does in his videos. So I don't really get where you're coming from, but I really, maybe I shouldn't mention what I'm about to say, but I'm going to give you a little personal story just to prove what I'm saying. About a month or so ago, when Richard did one of his 24-hour blog TV things, I wanted to donate for the charity he was raising money for, but I was unable to use PayPal at that time for personal reasons, and so I PM'd him and asked him if it was all right with him if I posted him some cash, because I couldn't use the internet for that. And he messaged me back and said sure, and sent me his address. And you know, I felt perfectly comfortable sending him cash money, and he felt perfectly comfortable sending me his address. Now, on the internet, that's not normally considered very wise, but I didn't have to think twice about it, because my estimation of Coughlin's character, based on the 50 or 60 videos that I had watched by then, led me to believe that I could trust him to donate the money on my behalf. And he probably watched 1 or 2 of my videos, and he obviously felt he could trust me with his address, because obviously I'm not a stalker. Anyway, so there are people out there who see a side of Richard that you blatantly aren't seeing. You think you leave out the possibility that you are wrong about this, and I respectfully suggest that you're wrong. It's not up to Richard or anybody else to prove their sincerity as a human being to you or to anybody. You know, people are as people are as people are, and when people give me shit about my appearance, you know, my attitude is the same to them as Richard's is to you about this. You know, I don't need your permission, I don't need your approval, and I'm not seeking your validation. And I think Richard would say the same things as regards all this. I think that's why Coughlin wants to drop it. You know, there's nothing to gain from this for either of you, really. And that brings me up to a point I wanted to make about the nature of battle in general. I mean, when people are going to fight, or when countries are going to fight, there's pretty much one possible outcome, and that's the fighting is going to stop. And the fighting can stop in one of two ways. Either by defeat, when one party forces the other party into a position where they can no longer put up a defense. Or decision. And decision can come in two ways. There can be surrender, or there can be détente. Now, Richard hasn't surrendered. As far as I could tell, we've got détente from Richard. And for those members of the audience who might be too young to remember the Cold War like I do, détente basically means that both sides recognize that they're strong and would inflict such serious damage on each other that there would be nothing worth winning left over. It's in neither party's interest to fight. Détente. I think it would be wise of you to embrace that philosophy. You know, I know that the amazing atheist is never going to surrender, and I can say for sure that Richard is not going to surrender, and you're going to call him pussy when you make videos for him and he doesn't respond. But TJ, be honest. If Richard says he's not going to respond and then later on responds, you're going to call him a pussy for going back on his word. And it's not just that. Richard Coughlin is not the type of person who's going to say he's not going to respond and then go back on his word. For exactly the reason I just said, because that would be more cowardly and more weak. There's something you don't seem to appreciate about Richard. Richard's English. He's British, you know. And there's a line in a song by Pink Floyd that comes to mind. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. And I never really got that until I lived in this country. And I've been here for 20 years now, and I can tell you these people are tenacious. They don't give up, and they don't say strident things like that and not mean them. So I think you best take it seriously. And frankly, TJ, I don't even want to see to what depths you're willing to go to try to provoke a response, because the longer he goes without responding, the more provocative I'm sure you'll get. I don't want to see that. And I know you said you don't care about what your audience thinks because you're doing this for your own benefit, but come on, TJ, get real. You know, we're all in this together, you know. That's what YouTube is. This is, you know, if you want viewers, then keep them. You know, I'm not threatening my subscription. I know you don't give a fuck about my single subscription. And I'm not even threatening some kind of mass action, because the threats are meaningless on the internet. And you know that, and I know that. And that's not even a constructive approach. I want to get back to talking about détente and wonder whether you think that's something that you could embrace, because I really want to know what it is you personally have to gain by taking on Coughlin. This doesn't seem to be a battle of ideas from your point of view. You've made it quite clear that you want to come at Coughlin on a personal level. Are you stupid enough to get between a man and his woman? I mean, you've made some statements which suggest to me, you know, I read between the lines and maybe I'm wrong, but it suggests to me that you're going to accuse Coughlin of insincerity about his relationship with Peach on some level. Now, as far as the videos go, the only level I could imagine you coming at that would be that you think his video to her in the first place was in some way set up or insincere. So let me just harpoon that for all of the viewers who might watch this beforehand. 3 or 4 days before Richard did his video for Peach, Peach had hit 500 subs the week before, and she did a Q&A video. And one of the questions that she answered was from Coughlin666, and he said, what contest between YouTubers would you pick, and who would you choose? And she said a mud wrestling match between herself and him. Now, I'm sure that the Amazing Atheist is going to pick that bit of the video out and say, oh yeah, see, it was all set up. They already had something going on. No, 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 no. That statement gave Richard the confidence to make that video. You're not going to make a video like that if you don't think a girl's got some sort of, she's likely to respond in a positive way. I mean, Richard put himself out there with that video, and it was perfectly sincere, and you know, I was there at the time. See, I'm aware of the context, TJ. You can't fool me about this. I know it was real. So please don't try and disparage that. You know, that's unnecessary and just plain immoral. You know, I'm running out of time, so while we're on the subject of immoral, I'm going to put my notes over there as I'm never going to get to those. I want to say that a lot of people have been saying in comments on your video, Richard's video, and my video, and others, that when you brought up the drugs, it was a cheap shot. Now, I know from your point of view, TJ, and from lots of people's point of view, you know, Richard mentioned it first, and therefore it's fair to comment on. That doesn't make it any less of a cheap shot, and here's why. You then go on to qualify it by saying that your addiction to food is somehow morally equivalent to an addiction to narcotics. TJ, if you had been addicted to both, you might have some basis for making a statement like that, but otherwise it's completely invalid. And more to the point, Coughlin is an ex-addict. He kicked his addiction. What about you? You've got the nerve to call Coughlin weak because he was an addict? You're still an addict. So what does that say about you? I'm sorry, I've run out of time. This has Got That Funk. May all your ups and downs be ups. And to TJ in particular, a message: peace the fuck out.